Hi, dear listeners. Today we talk about a topic many people know. Today it is about bad habits, and we will show you how to talk about them in English.
That is a very good topic. Many people have bad habits, but they do not talk about them.
Exactly. Bad habits are often embarrassing. People think, this is only my problem. But that is not true. Everyone has habits that are not good.
And many do not know how to speak about them in English.
That is why this topic is perfect for learning English. You learn new words, new sentences, and you learn to talk about your own life. Today, you learn English for your daily life. Not only grammar, but real language.
And maybe the podcast also helps you to change something.
Exactly. Language helps us to understand things. And when you understand something, you can change it. A question for you. Do you have a bad habit? Maybe too much phone, sleeping too late, or too little exercise.
Many people look at their phone for a long time at night.
You can say, for example, I am on my phone too long. Or, I sleep too little.
Or, I often eat unhealthy food.
These sentences are very simple, but very important. Please write one sentence in the comments.
This way you practice English and think about yourself.
I will tell you something about myself. My bad habit was the phone for a long time. At night in bed, I still read messages.
I know that very well.
Then I slept badly. The next day, I was tired and unfocused. But I did not know how to talk about it.
I felt the same. I often thought, I will change that tomorrow.
Exactly. Many people think that. Tomorrow, next week, or next year. Today, we want to talk about why this happens and how to take small steps.
Small steps are important.
Our plan for today is simple. First, we talk about what habits are. We also explain why we do things that are not good for us. During this, we teach important vocabulary.
After that, we talk about how to change habits. We show this with good habits for learning English.
Then we give you simple examples from daily life. And at the end, we ask you some questions to join in. Then we start with the first part. First, we talk about what habits are. This topic is very important because habits shape our daily life.
Yes, many people do not think much about their habits. They just do things automatically.
Exactly. A habit is something you do often. You do not think about it. It just happens. For example, looking at your phone every morning or staying up late at night.
Or always eating candy when you are tired.
Right. These are typical habits. The word habit is important. A habit is something regular. You do it every day or very often.
And not every habit is bad.
Exactly. There are good habits and bad habits. A good habit is good for us. A bad habit is not good for us.
For example, walking is a good habit.
Yes. Or learning a bit of English every day. That is also a good habit. A bad habit is, for example, too little sleep.
Or too much time on the phone.
Exactly. Now we talk about why we do things that are not good for us. That is a very important question.
Yes, why do we do that?
Often we do things out of comfort. Comfort means that something is easy. For example, it is easier to stay on the phone than to put it away and sleep.
I know that very well.
Me too. Another important word is automatic. Many habits are automatic. That means we do not think anymore.
Sometimes we notice it only later.
Exactly. You look at the clock and think, oh, it is already very late. The phone was there too long again.
That happens to many people.
Yes. Another important word is reason. A reason is a cause. One reason for bad habits can be stress.
When you have stress, you often do unhealthy things.
Exactly. Stress is a very important word. Stress means you feel under pressure. You're tired or nervous.
Then you grab candy or the phone faster.
Right. Now we explain another important word. Get used to. To get used to something means to learn something slowly until it becomes a habit.
For example, you can get used to listening to English every day.
Very good example. The opposite is break a habit. That means to stop a bad habit.
For example, break the habit of going to bed too late.
Exactly. These two words are very important. Get used to and break a habit.
I find these words very helpful.
Me too. Now we talk about a feeling many people know. A guilty conscience.
Oh yes, I know that.
A guilty conscience means you know something is not good, but you do it anyway. After that, you feel bad.
For example, after too much candy.
Exactly. Or after too much time on the phone. You then say, I have a guilty conscience.
That is a very important sentence.
Yes. Now, another important word. Change. Change means to do something differently.
Many people want to change their habits.
Exactly. They say, I want to change my habits, or I want to change something in my daily life.
But that is not easy.
That is true. That is why it is important to first understand what habits are. Without understanding, change is very hard.
You have to know yourself better. Now I want to talk only about my bad habits. I think this is important because many people have similar problems.
Yes, bad habits are part of life.
One bad habit of mine was going to bed too late for a long time. I knew it was not good for me, but I did it anyway.
Many people know that.
In the evening, I often watched shows or sat on my phone for a long time. I told myself just 5 more minutes, but the minutes kept growing.
That happens fast.
The next morning, I was tired. I had little energy and was in a bad mood. Still, in the evening, I did the same again.
That is a typical cycle.
Another bad habit of mine was too little movement. I sat a lot and did little exercise.
That is very common in daily life.
I often thought, I have no time today. Or, I will start tomorrow. But tomorrow often did not come.
You hear that a lot.
My phone was also a big bad habit. I often looked at it without a reason, while eating, in bed, or on the go.
Many people do that.
I noticed it made me restless. I could not focus well and I became stressed faster.
Bad habits often have effects.
Yes, but it was important for me to understand. I am not the only one. Bad habits do not make us bad people.
Exactly.
The first step is to be honest with yourself and to talk about it.
And that is exactly what we do here.
In the next part, we talk about how to take small steps to change bad habits.
Step by step.
Exactly.
Now we talk about how to change bad habits. This is the hardest part for many people.
Yes, many know something is not good, but they don't know how to start.
Exactly. The most important thing first. You don't need to change everything at once. Big changes are often too hard.
I have felt that myself.
That is why we talk today about small steps. Small steps mean you change only a little, but regularly.
That feels more doable.
Exactly. A first important step is to observe. Observe means you look closely at what you do.
For example, when do I look at my phone?
Very good. Or, when do I go to bed too late? When you know that, you understand your habit better.
I notice that my bad habits often come in the evening.
It is like that for many. The second step is decide. Decide means making a small change on purpose.
Not perfect, just a little better.
Exactly. For example, I put my phone away 10 minutes earlier. Or, I go to bed 5 minutes earlier tonight.
That sounds easy.
Yes, and that is the point. Easy is not bad. Easy means realistic.
Realistic is a good word.
Yes. Realistic means something works in real life. The third step is repeat.
Repeat means doing something often.
Exactly. A new habit is born through repetition. When you do something often, it slowly becomes normal.
At first, it feels strange. At first, it feels unusual. New habits often feel strange, especially when you learn English.
Exactly. Many people say, I want to learn English, but I have no time. Or, I am too tired. These thoughts are very normal.
I have thought that many times too.
Me too. That is why it is important to see English learning as a small habit, not a big project. You do not need to study for 1 hour each day.
Small things are often enough.
Exactly. A very good habit is to hear a little English every day. For example, a podcast, a video, or music in English.
You can fit that well into daily life.
Yes. While cooking, walking, or on the bus, you can say, I listen to 10 minutes of English every day.
10 minutes is doable.
Exactly. Doable means you can manage it well. Another good habit is reading. Reading means looking at short texts in English.
For example, news, short stories, or simple texts.
Exactly. You do not need to understand everything. Important is to read regularly. You can say, I read a bit of English each day.
That takes away pressure.
Very important. Pressure makes learning hard. Without pressure, you learn better. Another good habit is writing.
Writing has helped me a lot.
Me too. Writing means making your own sentences. For example, write 1 sentence about the day each day.
That can be a very simple sentence.
Exactly. For example, today I worked. Or, today I was tired. Important is not perfection, but regularity.
Regularity is an important word.
Yes. Regularity means doing something often and again and again. Better 5 minutes each day than 1 hour once a week.
I noticed that while learning English.
Another important point is speaking. Many people are afraid to speak.
Yes, fear of mistakes.
Exactly. But speaking is a very important habit. You can talk to yourself or read aloud.
I do that at home sometimes.
Very good. You can say, I speak a few English sentences every day. Even alone counts.
That is calming.
Yes. Now, an important point. Bad study habits. Many learn only when they have motivation.
Motivation is not there every day.
Exactly. That is why habit is stronger than motivation. A habit works even without desire.
That is a very important idea.
Yes. For example, I study every day at the same time. Even if I do not feel like it, I study a bit.
A bit is better than nothing.
Exactly. And one more thing. Be kind to yourself.
Many people find that hard.
Yes. If one day fails, that is okay. You can say, today was hard. Tomorrow I continue.
That helps a lot.
Now a small exercise for you.
Very good.
Think about your English learning. Which small habit can you start today?
For example, I listen to 5 minutes of English each day.
Or, I write one sentence in English every day.
Or, I speak English aloud every day.
Write this sentence down or say it aloud.
This is how a good study habit begins.
Step by step.
And without pressure.
Exactly. That is how English learning becomes part of your daily life.
That is our goal.
Now we talk about one of the most important habits when learning English. That is speaking. Many people think speaking is a talent. But that is not true. Speaking is a habit you can learn.
Yes, this is very important to me. I once thought, I am just bad at speaking. But later I learned, I simply had no speaking habit.
Exactly. Many people have the habit to listen and to read, but not to speak.
For a long time I understood everything, but I stayed silent. Silence became my habit.
And that is the point. Not speaking is also a habit. And any habit can be changed.
When I understood that, it was a big moment for me. I told myself, I do not need perfect speech. I only need regular speech.
Regularly is a very important word.
Yes. Regularly means every day or very often, even if it is only one sentence.
Exactly. Speaking works like brushing your teeth. At first you think about it, later you do it automatically.
That is a good picture. I chose a fixed time. Every day I spoke aloud for 2 minutes.
2 minutes are enough.
Yes. I describe my day. For example, I am making coffee now. Or, I will go out soon.
This way speaking becomes normal.
Exactly. Then something important happens. The fear gets smaller. That was true for me. At first, my heart raced each time I wanted to speak, but when I spoke a little every day, it felt normal. Fear often comes because something is unfamiliar. Unfamiliar means new, but if you do something often, it becomes familiar, and familiar is the opposite of fear. Suddenly, you no longer think, oh no, I must speak. You simply think, I will say something quick.
Exactly. Fear gets smaller when you do it often. It is like training. The more you speak, the easier it gets.
One tip from me. Connect speaking with something you already do. This is very handy because you need no extra time. While cooking, I say aloud what I do. I say, for example, I cut vegetables, I boil water, I make tea now. Or while walking, I talk to myself and describe what I see. This way speaking becomes part of my day, and that is exactly a habit.
That is a very good study habit. And you do not need to start with others. Start with yourself first.
Yes, that removes a lot of pressure. Pressure is a big enemy in learning. When you think, I must speak well, you block yourself. Block means nothing comes out. The head is full, but the mouth stays shut. That happened to me often, especially with native speakers. But when I practiced at home regularly, I had fewer blocks. Habits fight blocks because you do not battle each time. You just do it.
Many listeners may think, but I make mistakes.
Mistakes are part of it. Mistakes show that you speak, and speaking is the goal. I learned a sentence. It is okay to make mistakes. Getting used to something means doing it so often that it feels normal, and that is exactly speaking. If you understand this podcast, you already have the base. Now only the habit is missing.
And you can start it today, really today, with one sentence. Now this chapter is calmer. It is not about performance. It is about you. And about habits. Many people think, something is wrong with me, but often it is not the person. It is the habit. Habits are things we do often. Most of the time they happen automatically. That means we do not think about them. The body acts on its own. That is why habits are so strong, and that is why they are hard to change.
That idea was very important for me. For a long time, I thought, I'm just like this. I get stressed quickly. I am often tired. I cannot find rest. But later I understood. These are habits, not personal traits. For example, in the evening I grabbed my phone automatically. Not because I wanted it, but because I was tired. I wanted to switch off. Switching off means calming the mind. Many bad habits help us for a short time.
Exactly. Bad habits are often not a flaw. They are an attempt to deal with stress, or with pressure, or with fatigue. That is why it is important to be kind to yourself, not harsh. A good question is, when does this habit happen? Evening? After work? Morning? If you know that, you know yourself better. And understanding is the first step.
For me, it was often in the evening, always at the same time. When I saw that, I became calmer with myself. I stopped fighting. I started to ask, what do I need right now? Do I need calm? Do I need movement? Do I need a break? These questions helped me.
Change doesn't start with discipline. It starts with honesty. You do not need to forbid yourself. You need to understand yourself. Then you can take small steps, very small steps. For example, 5 minutes of calm, or step outside briefly, or breathe deeply.
It helped me to choose only one thing, not many, only one. For example, 5 quiet minutes in the evening. That was doable. Sometimes it worked, sometimes not. But that was okay. If something fails, it is not a fault. It is information.
Exactly. Habits change slowly, through repetition and through patience. Every small step counts.
In the end, we want to ask you a question, an honest question.
What could you do for yourself today?
Not tomorrow, today.
Write it down. Or think about it clearly.
Small steps change a lot.
And you do not need to be perfect.
Just honest. But what if someone experiences setbacks?
First, we need to explain what a setback is. A setback means you go back to an old habit. Many people then think, now everything is ruined. But that is not true. Setbacks are part of change. They are not a sign of weakness. They are part of the path. When you understand that, many things get easier.
That was very important for me to learn. In the past, I felt bad after each setback. I thought, I will never make it. I do the same again and again. But today, I see it differently. I know now, setbacks show me something. They show me that I am tired or overwhelmed or expect too much from myself. Overwhelmed means it is too much.
Exactly. Many people want to change too much too fast. They say, from today I do everything different. But that often does not work. Body and mind need time. If you are strict with yourself after a setback, it gets harder. If you are kind, it gets easier. Kind here means understanding.
I learned to speak to myself in a new way. Not, why did you do that again? But okay, it happened. What was going on? This question is calm. It does not attack, and it helps.
That is a very important point. The way we talk to ourselves is a habit. Many have the habit of being hard on themselves.
Yes, I was very strict with myself. I allowed almost no mistakes. But that did not help me. It only made me more tired.
Tiredness plays a big role. When we are tired, we grab old habits faster. That is normal. The body looks for safety.
Safety is an important word. Old habits feel safe, even if they are not good.
Exactly. That is why a setback is not failure. It is a signal. A signal means something is not right now.
For example, I need more rest, or I need less pressure.
And here comes an important step. After a setback, do not give up.
Do not say, now it does not matter.
Instead, say, I start small again.
Very small.
For example, today change only one thing, not everything.
I did that often. If a day was bad, I told myself, tomorrow I take one small step. And sometimes that step was simply being kind to myself.
That is also a habit. Being kind to yourself. We want to give you a simple sentence, a sentence for hard days.
The sentence is, today was hard, but I keep going.
Keep going means continue. Now we are near the end of this episode. We want to quickly sum up what we said today. We spoke about habits, about good and bad habits, and about why we do things that hurt us. We said habits are often automatic, and they say nothing about our worth as people.
Exactly. We also said that change takes time, that small steps are important, and that you may be kind to yourself. Setbacks are part of the path. They are not a mistake, but part of the journey. We invited you to think about your own habits and to find one small step for yourself. Not perfect, not big, but honest and doable.
If you take only one thing today, take this. Habits can be learned, and they can be changed again, step by step.
No one must do everything at once. Each person has their own pace, and that is completely fine.
We want to thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking time. Maybe for yourself.
And now we want to ask you something.
How did you like this episode?
Was it helpful for you?
Was there an idea or a sentence that stayed with you?
And which topics do you want for the next episodes?
More about habits? About daily life? About feelings?
Please write your feedback in the comments.
We read everything.
Your feedback helps us a lot to keep this podcast going.
On our channel, you can find many more episodes on different topics for different life situations.
Maybe there is something there for you too.
Thanks for listening.
And until the next episode.
See you soon.